Well, greetings, my friends. This is Will from the Counterdocs, and I am back from the ban. And yes, I did get banned, and most of you expected it. I expected it. I posted a lovely video of lovely fruit children. By the way, I can't say the J word unless I'm quoting things in context. I'm going to refer to them as fruits. I posted a clip of lovely fruit children who were saying some very kind and generous things about certain people who are not fruits. Okay, and it was taken down. Now, funny thing about YouTube guidelines, it says that you can actually repost things that are hateful if you're reposting. Obviously, when I'm posting a video that was deleted off the internet, that's reposting. That's not me saying it. I don't support that sort of behavior. Um, if you go on YouTube, you can see a bunch of clips like this, such as, KKK clips, um, Hitler clips, excuse me, tiny, what do they call them? Tiny mustache men. But, you just can't repost any sort of fruit videos. Okay. If it's about fruits, of what the fruits are doing, FruitTube will not allow you to do so. So I do have a lot of great clips piled up for you guys. So eventually, what I'll do is after I accumulate more clips, I will put them in one big compilation or big folder for you guys to assess to yourself. And unfortunately, it cannot be on FruitTube. And that just happens to be the way it is. Okay. A couple announcements. Our videos are going to come back this week. It's going to continue Wednesdays, um, believe 7 p.m. PST or 7:30 PST. Don't really matter. This week we have Jacob Jew again and me responding to Roman Catholics. One very obnoxious Roman Catholic. Okay, I never made any video on Roman Catholics before. It's going to be probably the first. I hope to be the last because there's really nothing you can go for on those topics, and because there's millions of debates out there. But yes, that will come this Wednesday, and um, two more announcements that I will be doing an icon giveaway once I hit 500 subs. I think I'm like, what, 15, 16 subs away from 500. Once that happens, I will be doing a giveaway of the icon you're looking at, which is Saint Philothea, who is a hero of the church during Muslim um, persecution. Okay, I will be doing that giveaway in the post sections. Three, Jacob Jew and I were talking the other day, well, today, that we are going to potentially host a live session for Mormons, specifically for Mormons to join, okay, where we can have a civil discussion where you Mormons can come ask any question you like, and we can have either a debate or a discussion, whatever you like, okay. Uh, I would be, I will set that up in my post section. It will probably next week, maybe the week after, because I will be extremely busy until the end of August. Most likely it will happen in September. Could be sooner, but that will be coming. Okay. And I think that is all the announcement I have before we get into some topics. And the topic of this week, okay, well, technically not the week topic, but I want to touch up on things that are talked about during my absence for the past 2 weeks. Obviously, we know what it is, what they are. It's the fruits. We're going to talk about the fruits again. Okay, I want to be very careful with my language, but I still want the effect that you guys enjoy. Now, for all the Zionist or fruits who are watching, we're fruit lovers. Um, I want you guys to look at this icon here. Okay. Now, we know who it is. We know who is looking at all of us at every hour, everywhere, every minute. Now, I want you guys to take a minute and just look at this handsome man. Okay. Probably the most handsome man in human history. Okay. Take a minute. Just take a minute and look at it. Look at him. Okay. The most handsome man in human history. And ask yourself, do you seriously think that this man is in any ways or forms related to this? Now let's in case you didn't catch that, let's look at it again. We have this man, extremely handsome man, to this thing, whatever this is. Okay. And this, of course. Okay. You cannot tell me that they're related in any ways or forms. Okay. It's not the case. Now I want to look at some clips here real quick of recent protest. Now this is Greek protesters blocking Israeli cruise ship from docking in Syros. Okay. That's a lot of people. Now notice here, these aren't Arabs. These are Greeks. I don't see no hijabs anywhere. There's no Arabs here. It's all Greeks. Okay. Entire streets of Seal, if I'm saying it correctly, Koreans. I don't see Arabs in here. There's no Arabs in here. This is Japan, by the way. This is Japan. Let's look at this. Okay. And we have one more for you guys. What
The starvation of children, no, get the fuck out of Hong Kong. Hey, tell about your experience with the tourists. They pushed me to the ground, they spit at me, they pulled my flag from the flagpole.
Yeah, so well, by the way, that's very usual fruit behavior, and we see it in Israel all the time. So, what do we get from footages from all over the world? Is that literally everyone, besides from the uh, US, European circle, and even some NATO countries, fucking hates you guys. And when I say you guys, you know who I'm referring to. Okay? Vegetables, fruits, okay? Not referring to anybody, any organic humans. Okay? I'm referring to fruits. Everybody hates you guys. Now, let me walk you guys through why these people hate you guys. Why do the Chinese hate fruits? Well, maybe it's because that they have been persecuted, massacred, and faced genocide. Maybe it's because they understand what that feels like. And now, why do the Japanese hate fruits? Now, um, I know for a fact that both the Japanese and the Chinese and the Koreans, they make very good fruit cakes. But obviously, this is another case. Why do the Japanese hate fruits? They hate fruits is because they've committed genocides against other group of people, and they were punished. And most importantly, they're humans. Okay, they belong in the genus of Homo sapiens. Okay, they feel remorse and compassion towards people who suffers horrible fate. Okay, why do the Koreans hate fruits? I think honestly, out of all of them, the Koreans and the Chinese makes the best fruitcakes. But why did the Koreans hate the fruits? Let me tell you, because the Koreans has faced genocide and humiliation from foreign nations all throughout its history. Now, why do the Greeks, who, who's been persecuted by the Arabs and have many people martyred for Christianity, why do they hate the fruits? Maybe it's because that they also experienced genocide and they understood that it's a terrible thing. And most importantly, they're Orthodox Christians and they're humans. Okay, they're also part of the Homo sapien. It seems like the mass number of Homo sapiens, people in this genus, hates the fruits. Okay, at least in general consensus. Obviously, besides from the people who take money from the fruits, who benefit from the fruit juice, okay, the fruit squeeze, okay, who drinks the juice, okay, they drink juice, okay, not talking about anybody here. Um, Everybody hates them, okay, and it's reflected in history that fruits were expelled from many countries, 100 plus, okay, and funny thing about all those countries that they all welcome the fruits in. They want the sweetness of the fruits. Okay, they all wanted to try that, and then they tried it. They're like, you know what? Maybe it's kind of shit. So we'll take cucumbers. Okay, we'll take tomatoes and cucumbers. Fruits can leave. That's probably why or what happened at the end. Okay. Um, anyways, so again, if you don't want people to hate you, don't do crazy evil shit. If you do that and people hate you, that's your problem. And what is really interesting within Zionists, and especially Ridvan, we're going to talk about Ridvan in a second, okay? Because this is a creature who is a nuisance. Um, so they, it's you see the same mentality within the American left, okay? Or now it's slowly, gradually becoming the global left. It's that I've talked about this, by the way, that we don't actually care about the start of the incident. We just want to look at the result, okay? And we're gonna make our judgment based on the result. I'll give you an example. So somebody comes into my house trying to rob me. I blow his brains out with my AK, and because he's the one who got hurt the most, then I get snowflakes outside of my house protesting that I should be locked up. That's the same thing that's happening. Okay. You went to a bear's nest, you poked it, you killed its cubs and or stole its cubs, and now the mama bear is looking to maul the fuck out of you. Okay. And you get mauled and you get mad, and then you tell people to go kill the bear. This is exactly what is happening. Okay? And we don't consider these things for some reasons. Now let's look at what Ridvan, who is a Um, Look at this. So he felt the need to make a mockery image of Mother Agapia as a demon. She is a nun. You need to respect. No, do not ask me to respect someone who defends the Islamic terrorists who murdered and raped my friends. Who's your friends? Those terrorists would happily kill me and parade my body with chants of Allahu Akbar. So, well, first of all, I watched the entire interview. She never did that. She just said the Muslims that she were around were in jihadists. Okay. And there's no discipline for Ridvan, and we all know why. Okay. And it's in one. And the moment that I heard of him becoming Orthodox, I made a video, okay, for all of you. And I said that he's not converting because he loved Christ. He's converting for a few reasons. I'm going to restate that. And those reasons are becoming more clear. He's converting because one, his wife is doing so. Okay, his wife is also a pretty scummy person, unfortunately. Um, he um, okay, so he's converting because his wife is doing it and because he wants to join a group that hates Islam and that have beef with Islam. That happens to be Orthodoxy. Okay. And he wasn't very happy to find out that we are anti-Zionist. And he wants to bring this ideology into the faith, which is, by the way, wrong on so many levels. And proves that his catechumenate should be stopped, and a good priest would do so. But obviously, by the way, like I didn't even when I saw him become a catechumen talk about stupid shit like Zionism, I knew immediately that he's in Goarch. Okay. As someone who came from Goarch, I guessed it. My godfather guessed it. Everybody guessed it. He's got to be in Go. I mean, even OCA wouldn't even tolerate this stupid shit. Okay. Now, let me tell you guys a story. Okay. And the reason why I'm telling you this story is to respond to certain clowns that say, well, we should still invite him into the faith. Well, the issue is, you see, we believe in something called synergy. Okay. So for the spirit to change you, you have to be wanting to be changed. Okay. We see the same thing with Pharrell, the Pharrell. Okay. He hardened his heart against the spirit. He did that. The spirit then said, well, you blasphemed me. I can no longer work with you because you don't want to work with me. The spirit doesn't force itself onto you. It's you who have to accept becoming a Christian. Now he's openly admitted that he's not going to do that, and he's determined to preach Zionism into Orthodoxy. Unfortunately, we have a bunch of evangelical clowns converting for the wrong reason, and is going to be propped up by this garbage. That is why I'm saying to all the people, this person needs to be stopped. Okay, by any means. And not talking about it, it's actually going to do more harm because you're inviting a wolf into the sheep's herd. Okay. And if you think that Christ taught that as shepherds, you should allow the wolf to kill all your sheeps in the name of love, then I don't know what to tell you. You're stupid. But my story, so the first Orthodox church I've been to was St. Andrew's with Father Josiah Trenum. I went at the time when I went to that church, okay, I was, I had alt-right ideologies. So I had t-shirts and sweaters with certain messages, okay, political messages. And the first priest I ever met was Father Thomas Hernandez, who is an assistant priest at St. Andrew's. And he welcomed me into his office. This during the school hours, okay? Went at a really weird time. he taught me a little bit about Orthodoxy, and I told him I'm looking to convert, and he made this very clear to me. He said that if you're going to convert, you need to understand that the church is not a place for you to achieve to yop your political BS. Okay, it's not a place for you to achieve or satisfy your political highs. Okay, you need to keep that garbage out of the church. And he told me that obviously the church is a hospital. If I were to come in, I need to take time and come in as a white sheet of paper. Okay, erase all the garbage, all the baggage I have, and come in here and allow Christ to enter my life, allow Christ as a center of my life to dictate what I believe, okay, or what I want to subscribe to politically. Okay, it has to be Christ centered, in other words. And I did that, okay, and my life has been, my worldview has been a 360-degree or 180, whatever, change. Okay, I don't recognize the person who spoke to Father Thomas that day. Okay, I'm a complete different person. Now I still got a lot of healing to do. Okay, I've got a lot of problems, but we see a person here who doesn't want to do that. He is here with an agenda. His agenda is to use the church, use this organization to fulfill his political, as a part of his online political um, mission. Okay. He said he's going to go quiet, but he's not quiet. Okay. So he lied. And he's an extremely ungracious person. When Andrew destroyed him in a debate, he invited him and his wife and David Wood, okay, to eat. He paid for their bills. He took care of them. Okay. And what does he do? What does he do? He left the next day and then he went on a show and he called the man, an Orthodox Christian, who took care of his family, who was gracious to them, a Nazi. Okay. Now let's look at this man's face. Well, I don't think I can find it, but well, here. Let's look at his face. And before we watch it, let's look at this guy's face. Okay. Does this look like a Turk? By the way, my manager is a Turk. Okay, he's Turkish, so I know what Turk. I see a lot of Turks. Okay, I know what Turks look like. Yeah, I got a Turkish market right outside of my house, but he doesn't look like a Turk. He looks like this. Okay, he doesn't look like a Turk. I don't see the Turk in him. Okay, he looks exactly like this. Now, what type of ungracious person do you have to be, hmm, to do things to people who treats you well? So I'm sure a lot of you know of I guess we would consider heretical bishop who told a story, which I'm trying to find a source. By the way, I'm pretty sure it's a real source. That's about Russian prisoners in in the concentration camps. Okay. Now let us, okay, let us go. Let me see if I can pull that video out. I think I reposted it, did I? In my short sections. I'm surprised that's not been taken down. My videos. Let's see here. Let's look at this video here. Okay, we go to our shorts. Okay, let's see. Let's see this. By the way, for the record, I am not an old calendarist. Okay, my church is old calendar, but I'm not an old calendarist. Okay, I don't support Archbishop Gregory. and his obsession with young men, with, disciplining young men who likes to self-abuse. But let's listen to this.
Forced us to dig a long, deep trench. And after we did what they wanted, they brought a group of Jews and threw them into the trench. And the Germans ordered us to bury them alive. We firmly, these are the Russian prisoners, we firmly rejected this disgusting act. The Germans ordered us to take the Jews out from the trench, and they threw us into the trench instead of the Jews. And they ordered the Jews to bury us alive. We were shocked when the Jews began to bury us without hesitation. The Jews almost covered us when the Germans stopped them and pulled us out, and we were surprised by the German commander who shouted at us, "We wanted to show you, to prove to you who the Jews are. They are ungrateful, merciless, and without love." Germans.
Okay, there you go. And we're seeing a similar behavior here in this person, Ridvan. Do we not? When a man treats him well, be gracious to him, he he has no thank in him. He can't feel graciousness in him. He lie about the man. He goes on a show to call the man a Nazi. Okay? Now, what type of creatures are without love, mercy, and compassion? I wonder. Because to me, love, mercy, and compassion are some of the primary aspect of what differentiate humankind from beasts and demons. Okay? People without love, mercy, and compassion, which is, by the way, everything that Christ our Lord has taught us during his ministry. We don't see it in the fruits, we don't see it in Ridvan. And his mockery of dead children, okay, kind of fills a lot of things in, right? So, anyways, let's go past. Now, here is his conversation with Father Whiteford. He's calling Father Whiteford a liar. Okay, but let's look at the whole context. And let's see here. So, and this is what this is what he does when Father Whiteford calls him out. I apologize. I did not realize that joining the Orthodox Church means bowing down and bending over for Putinist Russian anti-Semites. That's what he calls an Orthodox clergy. Okay, look at this scumbag. Okay, she explicitly and very clearly says Hamas are not jihadists. By the way, he never said that. She never said that. They just care about protecting their people and they're not fanatics. This is not, she never said that, first of all. Any of you watched the interview, she never said that. All she said is that she might have said they're not jihadists, but it's true. Hamas are not jihadists. A jihadist, if you guys don't know what a jihadist is, I think everybody should know. A jihadist is a Muslim fanatic okay, who wants to use violence and war to bring or promote an Islamic State. That is clearly not what Hamas is. They're not trying to start an Islamic State, okay? They are a revenge organization. I'm not saying they're not terrorists. Yes, they commit terror. They're terrorists, but they're not jihadists, okay? They want blood on the Jews. Excuse me, the fruits. They are a revenge organization, okay? They're not jihadist. That's the fact. Okay. But this is Ridvan for you. And this is the most, I'm going to show you guys the most disgusting part of this. And this is his reply or post when our church was bombed. Here's what he said. May their memory be eternal. Unfortunately, Hamas used the church compound and its vicinity to fire rockets at Israel despite multiple pleas and warnings by the church. Just not true, a lie, which is why the strike occurred. The church itself was not struck, only the compound was dead. Yeah, the compound that belongs to the church, right? You dumbass. Fucking idiot. Okay, total retard. Okay, so he's saying that Bishop admitted that Hamas was using the church, but here's what happened. Here's what he actually quoted. In 2014, Bishop said Hamas used the church to fire Israel. In 2014, that's his justification. Unfortunately, Hamas used the church. They deserve it. So if Hamas used the church, let me ask you this, Rivlin, why isn't there no missiles in the church or in the compound? There's no missiles destroyed. There were 20 plus Orthodox Christians who were killed. There were no Hamas. Where was the Hamas being killed? 20 plus Orthodox Christians confirmed. No other people were killed. There were no missiles destroyed. And you want to quote a bullshit from 2014. These are the people that should not be allowed into the church until they repent. Because if you allow him to be baptized, be into the church, you're allowing filth to contain the sacred body and blood of Christ. And it's going to become problematic. It's going to be schismatic. Every time this happens, it becomes schismatic. Who knows what type of shit movement he's going to prop up within the Orthodox Church? Okay, you never know. You don't allow wolves to be in, but unfortunately, and he's smart, he went to GoArch. He knows that every single other jurisdiction would have pounded his ass down. Okay, nobody, if you guys look at his comment section, nobody, everybody who supports him are his evangelical Zionist retards. No Orthodox person are supporting him. Does it not ring a bell? Okay, does it not ring a bell, dude? I mean, let's look at his utter shit. Okay, so there's a bunch of Hamas shit. But does it not ring a bell to you, Ridman? No, no. When you go out and say, "Oh, I did not know." I mean, he's crying all the time. Oh, I did not know joining the Orthodox Church means that I get attacked by all these people online. Do you think that people just wake up every day and wanting to attack your ass? Really? Because this is, by the way, we're made in the image of God. We seek happiness and comfort, which is good. And that's psychologically, as a psychologist myself, that's psychologically proven. People don't wake up in the day every day and just, oh, you know what? I hate fruits. I hate blacks. I hate this. And I'm going to go talk shit on Twitter. Nobody in the right mind does that. Okay. It happens as a response to piece of shit like you. Nope, seriously, nobody wakes up every day and says, "Oh, I'm gonna go find Rittman's Twitter account. I'm gonna talk shit." Why would they do that? When do you see this happen? Converts getting, unless doing some stupid shit. When do you see converts? I mean, everybody are rejoicing over converts. We're happy that people are converting. Nobody goes to converts and tell them. And even if converts make mistakes, we tell them that, hey, no, that's not how the church works. Go talk to a priest. But you're different. You don't actually want to convert. You want to have this badge that says Orthodox Christian, and you want to get into this field of religious apologetics against Islam. Okay, you just wanted to boost the shit that you're already doing with David Wood. We like this is not hard to tell. You're not a genuine convert, and unfortunately, Goarts don't give a shit. Okay, I know people in the Saint Paisios Brotherhood. Those of you who don't know, who are I know many people who are in bad catechumens who, or even Orthodox Christians who are in bad standing with the church, are not allowed to take communion or be catechumens. They're kicked out until they repent or show that they will follow the church teaching. Zionism is a damnable heresy. Okay, if you want to ally yourself with the synagogue of Satan, what do you think is going? Seriously, what do you think is going to happen to you at Judgment Day? Because Christ taught us to love thy neighbors. Okay? He told you to take care of the true Israel. And instead, you want to support the synagogue of Satan. And for those of you who watched this, his was a debate with Andrew Wilson. He openly admitted that we should support Israel. Okay, I don't know how they say it in their stupid language. Israel, Israel, Israel. Okay, the stupid shit place. What did Christ say that place is now? It's as filthy as Sodom and Egypt. He said in the scriptures, their time is over. That place is as filthy as Sodom and Egypt, and you want to support that. And he said, yeah, we should support it, even though they want to bring the Antichrist. He said that. Okay, and I have it clipped on my channel. So when, excuse me, when do you see people in Christians in the history paying a satanic state to live without dignity? When do you see Christians do this? I mean, you could argue under Muslim occupation, but that's Christian land Muslims are occupying. Where do you see that Christians needs to go out of their way and pay a satanic state trying to bring back? Now they're already talking about building the third temple very hard, and they're sacrificing the red cow. When do you see Christians do this? In fact, let me tell you this. You grossly underestimate the will and the faith of the Christians in the Middle East. And this is not just Orthodox Christians. This is Catholics, Lutherans, Orientals, every single one of them. All of those people, okay, although some we consider as heretical, all of them would rather get their throats slit by jihadists than to pay a penny to the synagogue of Satan for a life in shame. You think that's what Christ taught? Is to pay Satanists for survival? You think Christ taught that? And I'm surprised Andrew didn't bring this up. And Andrew, honestly, I don't think Andrew did too well in that debate because he's not that theologically sound. It should have been anybody else beside from Andrew. But you think that this guy literally thinks that Christians needs to pay Satan worshipers for them to keep them alive. What is that life that is kept alive by Satanists? What is that life? It's a life worse than death. That's what it is. Okay. Anyways, that's all I have for you. I'll keep doing these updates. on these clowns and whatever news that come up. Again, just real quick, I'm back, and we're gonna try not to get banned again. Okay, one more strike, and I'm pretty much done. And we have a video on Roman Catholics coming this Wednesday with Jacob Jew. It will be seven. I think I'll set it as 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. for you guys. And next week, actually, we have an interesting video on a certain person. And two more things. Obviously, once I hit that 500 sub, we're gonna do that icon giveaway of Saint Philothea of Athens. Okay, a blessed abbess who repose in the Lord. And Mormons. If you guys are Mormons, Mormon friends, Mormon foes, Jacob Jew and I will be hosting a open mic very soon, and I will let you guys know about that in the post section. And if you guys like to do it, you have all the time you want. You can say whatever you want. Let us know if you want a discussion, debate. Happy to do anything. We'll have we'll have a good conversation. Okay. Anyways, God bless. I hope we're for those of you who came out of the Dormation feast. I hope you guys had a great fasting period. May the Panagia be with all of you.